Lesson 1.2, learn to translate between algebraic expressions and word phrases. So I have some examples here that we can put into a table. These are in your book also. You might want to write these down somewhere because I don't believe it's on your notes worksheet. Word phrases for addition. You can use the word plus, a number plus 5, add 5 to a number, sum of a number, which is the answer to an addition problem, 5 more than a number, and finally a number increased by 5. All of these are represented by n or some number plus 5. And remember, n is just any variable. For subtraction, because order matters, we're a little bit more limited, and it's important how you state these things. So a number minus 11, subtract 11 from a number, difference of a number and 11 less than a number, and finally a number decreased by 11. All of these are represented by x or some variable minus 11. If we had changed the order or used different words, our expression would look different. So we need to be very careful with our wording with subtraction. For multiplication, 3 times a number, 3 multiplied by a number, and finally the product of 3 and a number. The product is the answer to a multiplication problem, and you can always use the answer to whatever arithmetic problem you're dealing with for an expression. And that's going to be represented by 3 times m. Notice I don't use the little x for multiplication anymore. For division, a number divided by 7, 7 divided into a number, and finally a quotient of a number and 7. Again, order is important with division. All of those are represented by a or some variable divided by 7. We're going to mainly use the fraction form or the fraction bar for division this year. So let's look at some of the examples on your sheet. Write an algebraic expression for each word phrase. 9 less than a number w. Less than means subtraction. Order is important. I'm basically looking at 9 minus w or w minus 9. I want 9 less than a number, so I'm starting at some number and going backwards by 9, so I'm going to write w minus 11. Okay, part B, 3 increased by the difference of p and 5. This is a 2-part problem. I have increased, which means addition, and I have the difference, which means subtraction. So 3 increased by the difference of p and 5. So because I'm saying the difference, so I'm looking for the answer of an arithmetic problem, I'm going to use grouping symbols of parentheses for the difference, p and 5, and then I'm going to do 3 increased by. So I end up with 3 plus the quantity of p minus 5. Okay? And because this order isn't as important, they took out the parentheses, I would leave them in. Let's look at another example. Write a word phrase for the algebraic expression 9 minus 3c. Okay? You could almost say what I just said verbally, but let's try and use some different words. So I know I've got subtraction and I've got multiplication. So 9 minus the product of, because I'm looking at that answer of 3 and c, and that might just be the easiest to do. Anytime you're looking at a grouping symbol or you're looking at 2 different expressions or algebraic signs, try and use the answer for one of them. Okay, finally, word problems. First, interpret the action you need to perform and then choose the correct operation for that action. A restaurant leased its banquet hall for a function. The cost was $10 per person. Write an algebraic expression to evaluate what the cost would be if 20, 21, 22, or 23 people attended the function. I have 4 problems to solve here. Okay, I have to find for 20 people all the way up to 23 people. Okay, so $10 per person. I'm increasing, right? So I'm multiplying or I'm adding. So combining n equal amounts of $10. So $10 times n. Well, $10 if there's, and the dollar sign, sorry. So now I'm just going to put it into a table. So $10 for 20 people, I'll just multiply that out. For 21 people, it'd be 210. You can kind of see the pattern. I'm increasing by $10 every time. So by 23 people, it's $230. Make sure that you have your dollar signs in there. My next example, write a word problem that can be evaluated by the algebraic expression 27 plus t, and evaluate the expression for t equals 1.76. So now they're asking me to use substitution. First, I have to find a problem that would work with addition, 27 plus t. Here's a possible answer. Ahmed bought a new sweater for $27 plus sales tax of t. If the tax was $1.76, what was the total cost of the sweater? It's a simple addition problem. All kinds of things that you could use for addition. You have 27, all kinds of things. Sorry, I'm trying to come up with something with a decimal that you could use that would make sense. But my expression is 27 plus t, where I can substitute t. I could come up with things that wouldn't make a lot of sense, like I had 27 apples and I added 1.76 apples to it. But I could say I had 27 apples and I added 1.76 ounces of caramel to it, something like that. Just make sure that it makes sense for the application and the numbers that are given. So the total cost of the sweater was $28.